more than half the Senate is still undecided as well. And I want to bring in Representative Bill Pascrell. He represents a district in New Jersey that has a number of Syrians and people of Syrian descent. He is a Democrat, and he falls in the undecided column. So, Congressman, nice to see you. Welcome.
Brooke, glad to be here.
Let me just begin with something said by the Secretary of State. This is John Kerry. I want to play some sound. He was making the case yesterday during hours of testimony that the Syrian government has indeed used chemical weapons. His word in terms of the evidence, undeniable. Here he was.
Only the most willful desire to avoid reality, only the most devious political purpose could assert that this did not occur as described, or that the regime did not do it.
So, Congressman, Secretary Kerry is saying it requires a willful departure from reality to deny that Bashar al-Assad has used chemical weapons. What do you say to that?
Well, I studied over the weekend the exact information, went through all the records myself, read it, and then we had a briefing, of course, which I went to on Sunday. I've been working on this for many, many months. Have met just recently, Brooke, with both Syrians who want us to go in America here and Syrians who do not. I mean, Assad had an interesting record with Christian Syrians in Syria, protecting many of the churches. And if you listen to the testimony yesterday in the House meeting,
I did.
You heard Congressman Smith bring out, which I think is a very important point. Smith was recommending that we hold off here and not have a knee-jerk reaction. Well, I think we're beyond knee-jerk reaction, and I believe that John Kerry was telling the truth, just as I believe that Congressman Smith was telling the truth during those hearings. But if you listen to those hearings carefully, and I know you did, you heard politics interjected into what is a critical issue for us.
But
one simply has to look at a map of Syria and the Middle East to know that it's very important and very strategic.
Maybe it's naive of me to try to say let's take politics out of it, but I hear you. You know, for months you've been studying this. You came into this meeting at the Visitor Center on Sunday. You're talking to your constituents. What do you need to hear, Congressman, to convince you that military intervention, that force is the way to go?
Well, if I was to listen, Brooke, and that's a great question, it's a fair question, if I was to listen to my constituents who called in either to the Washington office or to my office in Paterson, New Jersey, it was overwhelmingly, we do not do this. This is the overwhelming interest of those folks. When I talk to the Syrian American groups, as I told you, I did yesterday and the day before, it is a split decision. Many of the individual groups in Syria who represent the United States of America want us to go in. The Christian side of this, which is, one might say it's only 8% of the total Syrian population, says no, this is not the right thing to do. So what's the greater risks? I'm getting mail. Here's a picture, Brooke, right from Syria, one of the villages, the children writing to me and asking me, please come to our assistance. They don't want Assad, et cetera, et cetera. There's enough evidence to go around. The question is, how will I vote next week? I have not yet decided, and I'm trying to make a good, conscious decision. I will make a decision.
When?
I will make that decision when the time has come for me to vote next week, and that's exactly what I'll do. I'm going to say a prayer like I usually do on tough decisions. This deals with a lot of people's lives. Which is the greater risk? I don't believe the decision is to bomb or do nothing. I don't accept that as the alternative. I think what we need to do is understand that there are other alternatives. I believe we should ask one more time, perhaps, the Assad regime to sit down in Geneva to negotiate this. It'd have to be it'd have to be within 2 weeks. I don't see why we want to do this next week. We've already lost a lot of time, quote, quote, for those who talk about time. I think it's our decision. I think that we should wait for the American people. American people need to know a lot more facts about the proof that we have. I examined that proof. There's no doubt in my mind that Assad was behind this and behind the gassing of his own people. There's no doubt in my mind. And there have been other episodes in the past. Is that enough for us to move and have a bombing of Syria, we don't know what's going to happen the day after we bomb. And I believe the president, and I believe Mr. Kerry, Secretary Kerry, and I believe the secretaries and the generals who are supporting this position. But the point is, the day after, what's going to happen?
And it was a question that was brought up, House Foreign Affairs and also Senate Foreign Relations. But let me just end with this, because you bring up Assad, you bring up some of your constituents, specifically the Syrian Christians, and I'm just curious because they feel, is friend the right word? Do they feel like Bashar al-Assad is a friend of theirs?
No, they don't. They think that Assad has committed pretty bad deeds, but this is civil. This is something that exists within the country of Syria. They've also believed that Assad has taken care and protected their churches. If you notice, as we have moved refugees from the south through the north into Turkey, into Jordan, or the other countries that surround Syria, Lebanon, you'll see that the churches now are being ripped apart. So there cannot be any guarantee, because Assad does not control that part of the country any longer. And I can understand that. All minorities need to be protected. But I know that al-Qaeda is supporting us in our decision to get rid of Assad. Hezbollah is supporting Assad. It puts us in a very precarious situation. There is no either-or here. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Congressman, I hear you loud and clear. Good luck with your thinking. Good luck with the vote.
Thank you, Brooke.
Congressman
and thanks for having me.